Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. This past week, I spent a frantic 31 hours in the Denver, Colorado area. Two remarkable U.S. hyper audio manufacturers, YG Acoustics and Boulder Amplifiers, both of whom are in proximate northwestern suburbs of Colorado. YG is in Arvada and Boulder is in Louisville. Now, these two high-performance audio companies often work and show together, and it makes so much sense. They are both top-tier U.S. audio manufacturers, and they are separated by just 15 miles along Colorado Route 121. Now, I was only too happy to accept their gracious offer to host my visit, allowing me to spend a day with each manufacturer. And so Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., I set out for Gerald R. Ford International Airport in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for a direct flight to Denver International Airport. Boulder Amplifiers is in the Colorado Technology Center Industrial Park of Louisville in Boulder County. They moved into their grand 29,000 square foot manufacturing facility in 2016, and that original purchase included an as-yet undeveloped piece of property attached to their current lot, assuring them the space to build should they need or choose to expand. At this time, the only thing that they do not complete on site is the anodizing of the chassis, other casework, and remotes. Everything else, from R&D to the fabrication of chassis, knobs, remotes, even the component footers, is completed in-house in this remarkably well laid out, beautifully maintained, and enormous facility. Boulder Amplifiers is celebrating its 40th year of manufacture this year, and original designer and founder, Jeff Nelson, is still piloting the company's every move. Today, I'm going to share a tour of this state-of-the-art facility as delivered by Boulder Amplifiers International Sales Manager, Logan Rosencranz. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Logan Rosencrans. I'm the International Sales Manager here at Boulder Amplifiers. We're at our facility in Louisville, Colorado. I'm going to take Greg on a tour here. We're about to enter the machining shop, so it might get a little bit loud. So come on in. So this is the machine shop, also the blast and sanding area. That's our two head machinists, Ian and Kevin. And we have 5 CNC machines in here, this being our newest one once we got during the pandemic. Usually these are running all the time, all of the machines, but today we tried to keep it a little more quiet and purposes for a video, so. But we're still running some things because we need to. We're running some remotes for an 1110, so these are about to be finished and then blasted. And we're running some back panels of an 1110 as well. So we have it in 2 separate ops. You can see this is the first op where not everything's machined out yet, but we get a clean layer off. And then this is the second op where we actually machine out the part where inputs would go for any access. We also have done a large swath of 866 heat sinks as well, and those are about to be finished up. So we'll take you to the blasting chamber. So after everything gets machined, it gets hand sanded and then blasted before going to the anodize. Before they start on this, I'll show you. Can we get a video up here real quick? So this is the blast chamber. solder, blast bead, and blast it on that vice there. You try to give it a nice uniform finish before the anodize. And this was all designed by one of our engineers here. So this is an off-the-shelf product, completely unique to Boulder. And as you can see, they're getting ready to go. But this is what the final product looks like before it gets shipped out. So it gives you a nice, good idea of what that is. The reason we use black bead is it's more uniform than sand. So, but I'll take you back here and show you the step before that. I just didn't want to interrupt. So back here is where every piece of metal gets hand sanded, and then it gets strapped to one of these anodes. And then you saw the anode in the vice in the blast chamber. So each piece of metal has its own anode. That's why we have so many. And then the anodes go to a place in Denver where they do the anodize, and then comes back here for assembly. So I'm going to be showing you some of the metal pieces that we do to work from this way. So essentially every piece of metal that you see in a Boulder amplifier is machined in-house here, even down to little tiny brackets that hold parts together or hold boards in place. We do feet, buttons, like I said, essentially every single piece. So little parts up until the big heat sinks you see on 3050s. One of my favorite designs is here. This is in the 1100 series. And you can see these lines. So this is what it looks like before it's been sanded. You see the machine marks. So that's what we're trying to get out with the sanding and blasting, is the machine marks from the mill. But these lines here are a topographical map of a mountain close by called Flagstaff Mountain. Kevin, one of our machinists, he's a mountain biker and had maps laid out and actually came up with this design as we were trying to figure out what to do on the front panel. So everyone at Boulder is able to give their input for what new products are going to look like. And then something that I did, these are the Flagstaff Mountains in Boulder, Colorado, and this is the cover of the 812 DAC Pre. And so this just goes over your headphone outputs if you're not using them or you don't want dust going in there. Now we're going to be entering the assembly, shipping, and testing area. So now we're in the assembly area. This is where everything gets assembled, all the boards are soldered and made, where there's testing and shipping. So something, just to show you, this is one channel of the heatsink of a 2150, and all of this is hand done. And as you can see, let me find it on here, there is a serial code on all of these, a barcode up at the top there. So every board is inventoried. We know who built it and when. This is just for quality assurance.
Good
and we
for
have a full
QC,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like Alex maybe went to lunch, but so here's something cool to see. This is the inside of a 3050 or 60. Those are some stainless steel tubes, and the transformers, there's 4 per chassis, are stacked up like donuts and then wired in. I can show you the inside of a 3050 or 60 to see how it's all assembled later, but that's the first stage of that. And then here we have a pair of 2150s. Same kind of idea. You have transformers stacked up in this metal tube. And it's epoxy, as you can see over here. And this helps for noise, helps for thermaling, keeps everything solid and tight. Nothing's moving around or shifting. But that's essentially what happens in both of these tubes as well. But this is for 1100 series amps. So this is the desk where all of the big amps are made. Preamps are done on the next desk over, and then all of the boards are done at these desks over here. Here's the inside, the 3060 like I promised. So this is the same tube that you just saw, but now assembled. And we build these on engine stands because we don't want anyone lifting or lugging these around. And the nice thing is you can turn it if need be, so you can get easier access to any side. Or more rarely, if a screw falls down, you can turn it upside down so it falls out. So this is the shipping area where everything gets shipped out. Any of the big amps, we have custom crates and foam for. Anything in the 800 series or some of the preamps come in boxes, and that's just to keep shipping weight and shipping costs a little bit lower. But this kind of gives you an idea of the scale of the operation here. Now that we have a 5th machining center, we're able to actually have some stock. Before that we weren't able to, but now we can get orders out more quickly than we were before. So just improving production and becoming more efficient. These here are all test jigs that we use in case a board comes back or there's a failure in the field, especially overseas. So we can send out a brand new board that's easily replaced. There's no soldering required. So now that technicians are harder to come by, we've designed it to be easily used by a layman with an Allen wrench and a screwdriver, and you can replace boards. So what happens is we'll get a board back, fix it here, and another board is already being sent to repair the unit. And so these are just test jigs for that kind of troubleshooting. So this is the testing facility. This is Andrew, one of our techs, and also working under Jameson and Jeff, helping work on some new products for us as well. So every single Boulder product gets tested on the bench. And we have a lot of a very thorough testing procedures. We want to make sure everything meets spec. We have Variacs, oscilloscopes, audio precisions, and something unique that we have, if you can get a view under here, is if you see underneath the bench, those are all resistors, giant resistors for...
Those are wire one power resistors, aren't they?
What?
Wire one power resistors? Or are they simcast?
They're wire wound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a dummy load for these amplifiers.
Yeah.
Yep. And every amp gets thermaled. We make sure that it will withstand the maximum heat. Most customers will never ever thermal a Boulder amplifier, but we want to make sure in case they do, nothing happens and the protection circuits turn off at the right time. This is the second part of the testing process. So in this room, every Boulder product, whether it's 3000 or 800 series, gets listened to by someone here, usually Kenzo or I. We have some YG speakers here, friends just up the road. But after thorough testing, then it comes in here and gets listened to, make sure that all of the buttons and functionality works. Then we give it, at least 30 minutes to an hour of listening before it goes off into shipping. So now we're heading into the SMT room where we do all the surface mount parts. So we have 2 SMT machines. We actually just got this one and we're starting to do smaller boards and smaller runs. This is our older SMT machine. So we're just waiting to get some shelves to get these reels. As you can see, on each of those reels is a lot of very small parts. I can pull one up to show you in a minute. But the way SMT works is each board has a screen, like so. And you can see these little holes in the screen. And we'll have a raw board, and you put this screen over it, and then you take solder paste, put it in this vise. Actually, it's set up perfect right here. You take solder paste and you put it over where all of those parts are going to go. And then the SMT machine takes those parts off of reels and places them on top of the solder.
Seats them in there securely.
Yes, exactly. And then this is essentially just a very large
dryer
pizza oven.
Yeah.
A roller oven.
To cure everything, right?
Yep. To heat and then cool the solder so those
so they cure
parts
right.
are in paste.
Yeah.
Yep. And since we've been doing this, we used to do this out of house over 20 years ago, but now we have a failure rate of less than 1%. Before that, it was at least 10%. So all of these are reels of the SMT parts that we have, and each reel, you can see little tiny parts. And so all of these reels are different values or different parts that we have. Below are all the different screens for boards. So each board has its own unique screen that we use. This is very efficient. The only thing that takes a while is setup. So that's why we brought in a second machine, so one can be running as the other is being set up.
First, my thanks to Logan for his skillful walkthrough of this large and beautiful facility. His colleague, Boulder sales coordinator Kenzo Horiuchi, who was my chauffeur for my visit. Thank you so much, Kenzo. And my special thanks to head honcho Jeff Nelson for not only greenlighting this project, but for adjusting production schedules and carving out so much of his time, including his sharing of some remarkable tales from his 40 years in the business. Such gracious and thoughtful hosts. I really enjoyed my time, guys. Now, as evidenced by the video, the facility is not only enormous, especially the assembly, parts, QA, and shipping floor, but it is also well-kept, remarkably clean, and incredibly efficiently laid out. Now, next week, we'll hear more from Logan and Kenzo as they talk about what makes Boulder Amplifiers the company it is today, and we'll get a chance to visit and hear the incredible factory sound room there. Its design features completely isolated and non-parallel walls, and the space sits on its separate concrete slab. I can assure you that they've leveraged a lot of tricks to optimize the performance of the fabulous products set up in that room. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or on my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.